indecision, just collision. It's all arranged. Too late for me. No reason to recover. If I should choose to rise, I'm still descending, never ending. I fall, and we are sending smoke signals. Keep pretending we're one. Take up the call and follow everybody. I won't become a number in the system. Zeros and ones, not me, not me. And we are sending smoke signals. Keep pretending we're one. We're all descending. No strings. We keep pretending we're one. Step out beyond the edge and start the motion.
Twitch chat. Good afternoon. Oh, one moment. Be right back. Sorry about that, Bacon. I went downstairs to get a soda and then realized I left it in my bedroom on the way up. It was not the place that it needed to be. Well, Happy New Year, Twitch chat. you're all doing well this fantastic New Year's Day. Certainly am. I am back from vacation, newly back from vacation, and ready to play the crap out of some Hades, to be perfectly honest. Let's get into it, shall we? All right. So we're going to be doing some heat progressions.
This is going to be awkward.
Today.
Congratulations.
So depending on which weapon that is, it'll be somewhere between 15 and 27 heat, I think. Something like that. So we'll just have to see. We'll rotate weapons based on whichever one is giving us the increased darkness that time. That's what we're going to go with. Monsters! I want to buy these expensive decorations just to say that I did. I don't even really care for what they do. I just want to say I did. Oh, we'll buy an Ambrosia for a Titan's Blood? Heck yes. We've got so many extra Titan's Blood. Could gift a Meg. Let's see what we've got here. Did we already max out Skelly? I think we might have already maxed out Skelly. I want to use these Ambrosias to try and upgrade the legendary relics even more to see what that looks like. I don't even know what they max out at. I assume 5, that seems to be the normal thing.
Upgraded.
Yep, 5 is the max thing. Okay. Now we can use the rest of this Ambrosia to gift to people as we see fit. Alright, so it looks like we're starting with the spear today. Our spear currently is up to 17 heat, so we'll be running at least 18 heat. We'll probably go either 18 or 19, I'm guessing. Probably 19. I think we'll go up by 2 until we hit 20 heat, and then we'll start going smaller increments. Alright, we did Hades aspect last time, which means we're on Zagreus aspect this time. So with this version of the spear, we have let's see, 3 attacks. Yep. We have the basic combo, which is 3 quick attacks. 20, 30, 30 is the damage. We have the spin attack. We hold X, which charges up and then does a large spin attack, which hits for 100 base damage. You cannot back attack. And then last we have the throw. This throws the spear out and then pulls it back. With the Zagreus aspect, it flies and 100%, 150% faster, and it goes 150% farther. So that's why you can see we can throw the spear like all the way over here to this wall. Hard to see that way. Let's throw it this way. You can see it went all the way over to here. It's a long throw. Alright. Going to hold on. Turn down the music just slightly. Okay. Too loud, let me know. Alright, so 17 heat is our highest so far, so we're going to run probably 19 heat, I think. So let's max out Hard Labor, max out Jury Summons, Calisthenic Programs, these are our defaults. Let's turn on Underworld Customs, 2 Forced Overtime, max out Heightened Security. That gets us up to 14. Now with the Zagreus aspect, we'll probably be throwing our spear a lot, which means that damage control isn't too bad to take, so we'll probably take this. Then we need like 3 more. We can go 1 convenience fee, maybe. That gets us to 17. Then middle management gets us to 19. It leaves us with no extreme measures. Maybe let's do 1 extreme measures instead of the convenience fee. Yeah, I think this looks good for a run. So we've got 100% increased damage, 60% more monsters. The first boss is empowered. Enemies have 30% more health. Mini bosses are empowered. We have to sell 1 boon in between each act. That's what Underworld Customs is all about. And then Forced Overtime, 20% increased movement speed and attack speed for enemies. Heightened Security says take 800% more damage from traps. And then finally, Damage Control says that all enemies spawn with 2 charges of invulnerability. Any damage removes 1 charge of invulnerability. So this essentially makes them invulnerable for 2 hits. There we go. Okay. All right, this looks good. Let's do it. First run of the new year, Twitch chat. Let's go.
One more time.
It looks like we're starting with, oh crap, Twitch chat, hold on. We're gonna come right back to this. I forgot to switch our keepsake, so we were running with Lambent Plume, which is not what we want.
Me.
Lambent Plume is a speedrun trinket, not really a trinket here. So what do we want to do with Zagreus Aspect? We could go Ares, we could go Zeus, we could go Poseidon, are all pretty good options. You know, I haven't done Zeus with the spear in a long time. Let's do some Zeus. All right, let's get our 19 heat back here real fast. I won't talk through it this time since we did it last time. But not convenience fee. Thank you. There we go. 19 heat. Let's do this.
One more time.
Hey, Marisbeth, how's it going? Really enjoying the Zeus Aegis aspect. Great to work with. It's fun. Okay, so tell me what you've found about it that you like, because as you know, I'm very skeptical of that specific aspect. So how are you playing it that makes you like it, or what builds are you running? So I'm really interested to hear. Do Thunder Dash. I'm not really interested in any of this stuff all that much, but we do need Thunder Dash for the prophecy.
I feel all tingly.
Alright, do we want this darkness? Sure, we'll take darkness. I think it'll get stronger when I have it fully spec'd out. Yeah, spec'ing it out just gives you some increased base damage. So it'll make things that increase your base damage more effective, but if you're using things like Zeus Blessings or Ares Blessings, for instance, it will not make it better to fully spec it out. Dragging it behind me seems pretty effective. Yeah, so that's probably my favorite thing to do with it. I found that the problem with dragging it behind me is that it puts you in unnecessary risk in a lot of cases, right? Because one of the better aspects, or one of the better things about that aspect of the shield is really that you can attack while your shield is out and about, but if you're doing the drag your shield behind you thing, then you can't really attack while you're doing that. You have to focus on like continuing to run away from your shield. And so, I don't know, I just feel like it's not quite powerful enough to offset not being able to attack by trying to pull off those maneuvers. You can dash past it and not pick it up. Not necessarily sure that I understand that, but I am interested in understanding. Hey, Minnie! Thank you so much for that sub. I really appreciate it. Happy New Year. I hope your New Year's stream went well, or your New Year's Eve stream. I watched for a little while, but not all the way up to the end of the night. Like dash through it. You're talking about like when it's coming towards you, you dash through it and it won't pick up? Feels like it's a somewhat difficult maneuver to pull off. I stopped early, went to get drunk, and rave at a deadmau5 concert. Nice. Sounds like a lot of fun. Alright, Dionysus or Athena? I'd rather go with Athena here. Oops. Not the greatest time to take a drink of my soda, I guess. we're gonna need to figure out how we're doing damage with this build pretty quickly here. Even against these just regular armored mobs, already we're having a little bit of trouble and having to dodge a lot in order to avoid damage. So we need some way to empower our special if we're gonna continue to lean to the special. Usually I don't like trying to lean into a spin build unless we have something that makes our spin better, like massive spin or quick spin. We're probably not looking for that just yet.
Take heart, cousin, for you have found me even in the suffocating darkness of the underworld. May my power be of some assistance.
Alright, Athena, what do you got for us? Chat, I don't like any of this stuff. Wine. Failing shot. You know what? I haven't taken failing shot in a long time. Nah, but I think Holy Shield is the best here. After you take damage, nearby flows take damage and briefly deflect. This stops us from taking like a bunch of damage in a row, similar to what Broken Spear Tip does. And we found Broken Spear Tip to be really useful high heat. So I'm gonna take this Holy Shield.
See his power.
Wherzwith says, here's a question for you. I'm all over kind of disappointed with Meg's summon. Am I missing something? Doesn't work in Tartarus boss fight, I don't think at all, and won't show up for Hades. Whereas Boldy does decent damage and gives you some sustained cash. Yeah, I think that... So, I still haven't played with the summons all that much yet, mostly because I forget to use them.
Must be something.
But my read right now is the same as yours, Wherzwith. I think Boldy is the best summon there is. Alright, let's take this Digilus Hammer, see if it helps give us some direction.
I'll take it.
Well, it would appear that our direction is spin build. Let's do quick spin. Yeah, I think... So, Skelly definitely I haven't used too much yet, so I definitely need to understand Skelly better. In terms of Meg, I think your read is right on that. In terms of Boldy, I think that Boldy is probably overpowered. I think we can expect to see Boldy get nerfed. My guess is that Boldy will be nerfed to do no damage and only provide sustain items, which I think is a fair nerf. But that's kind of what I'm thinking about it right now. My favorite is definitely Thanatos, but the fact that Thanatos won't come for the last boss, I think is just really crappy. We just took quick spin, but we have nothing empowering our attack right now, so... Get some sustain right there. We now have 4 summons of Boldy over the course of the levels. We can get this armor broken on the other Wavemaker. I think we're in a pretty good position here.
Anyone else?
Between 3 Boldy seems pretty solid, or maybe Meg getting buffed. It's possible that we'll see Meg getting buffed. I think the problem is... let's take Deadly Flourish here, I think.
Time to hunt.
Like, the problem with buffing Meg, right, is that if you buff Meg, what does she have that's different than Thanatos, really, right? Unless you buff her by making her usable in all fights, which makes sense, but also, you know, is not canonically as correct, right? That she'll fight against Hades or fight against her sisters. So yeah, I don't know. Minnie says, how long are you planning to stream today? Yeah, I will probably stream for about 4 hours, and I've been going for about 20 minutes so far. That's my current plan. But we'll see. If things are going really well, I might stay alive until like Sneaky Teeth starts up, and then go off after that. Yeah, I've been really bad about forgetting Summon Merizwith, and actually that's like my Hades New Year's resolution is to get better at it. In particular, I think Goldie's ability to provide sustain is actually off the chart powerful, and the only reason that I haven't already felt like it's a must take is I just haven't been using it correctly. So do you want me to ruin the surprise of Thanatos' trinket for you?
What's for sale?
Alright, let's take this Trove Tracker. I think it might be useful for us. Let's take this money. Build is alright. If we had extreme measures turned on here, I'd already feel pretty bad. Because, like, we have a couple of ways to do damage, but I have no idea what this build is going to be when it grows up yet. That's not a great place to be if you're running extreme measures. Like, you have to have a plan for how you're going to kill the first boss before they kill you. And I don't know what that is for this build yet. Alright, only 86 gold, but still we only took 4 damage. That's pretty good. I don't think we need to buy this heal. Alright, we're already at 135 max health. I think I'd rather get some sort of damage here. That is not damage. Try again. Alright, Dionysus could be damage. Could be. Is this the build where we actually like take Dionysus's cast and try and make a build out of it? I don't know. We'll have to see. I do want something on our attack. We did take quick spin, so our spin is pretty good. We just need it to do enough damage to be worthwhile to press the button. Definitely I didn't expect this build to go the spin direction, and so having the stacks of invulnerability is actually pretty nasty for a spin build. One of the worst debuffs. Generally I tend to avoid it on the spear, but for the Zagreus aspect I thought, nah, it's not going to be a big deal for us.
I think not.
It turns out a bigger deal than I expected. I bet Zeus Shield would be absurd with the poison aspect. Just remember that poison has a limitation, right? It can only stack up to 5, and so the maximum, the ceiling on the damage is set. Well, here's that tipsy shot that I talked about. But compared to Premium Vintage in Act 1, I think Premium Vintage is so much better, especially since Premium Vintage also gives us a palm rank.
Here we go again.
Transgressions are not tolerated.
Just throw this at stuff that's already off the screen. Seems like a fine plan to avoid damage. Alright, these guys. Got him.
There. Satisfied?
Excellent.
Alright. Do we get a reroll back, or do we get more max health? Guess let's go more max health, but our max health situation is already in a pretty fine place, so I really want some attack damage or some scaling, some way to improve our special damage to really make sure that we are going to be a special build. Either of those things would be great, I think. We are destined to be a special build, which our blessings seem to suggest. then it's pretty sad that that Dedulus Hammer we found had no options to make our special better. But them's the breaks sometimes. Holy bombs. The one downside of playing with a controller is with the keyboard and mouse you can aim where this really long spear throw goes. With the controller there's a limit to how far it will auto-aim, and so you can't actually hit stuff at max range with Stag Race Aspect because it doesn't auto-aim that far. Okay. A key again or a Palm of Power. Let's take the Palm of Power. Make our special better. I think that special is probably going to be how we defeat the first boss here.
Copy. There.
Alright, this is a survival room. All we have to do is live through this encounter. However, enemies you kill can drop money, so it's not useless to kill the enemies, even though you don't have to. And also, killing the enemies stops you from just getting overwhelmed. Another useful aspect of killing them. I think having gotten Armor Skewer or Vicious Skewer from that first Dedulus Hammer, we could already be like a decent build by now. A little worried about us at the moment.
You lived through all that.
Okay, well that hit our Deadly Flourish at least, so that's making our special better. Shop. It's gonna be the shop before the boss. Eek. I think we need a little more damage. Crap. And that is definitely not gonna give us more damage.
I'll take this one.
Right. So instead we're offered two different forms of mitigation, dash more times or regain health if you dash after getting hit. I think quick recovery is the better sustain here, so I'm gonna take that.
Faster than ever.
Then on to the first boss, I guess. Here we go. Oh shit, we are running extreme measures. Okay. Well, in that case, I am really concerned for our health, good chat. In particular, I think Tisiphone is the worst sister to face when you have extreme measures turned on. And beyond that, we just we don't have enough damage to really be in a position to just blast through the first boss, which is generally the gamble you're making by turning on extreme measures. You're saying, I'm going to be strong enough that having to fight all three sisters at the same time potentially is not going to impact me. That is definitely not the situation we are currently in. So at this point, things are going to start to get bad. So Tisiphone has made the room significantly smaller by this phase, and both of the sisters have area of effect attacks. So we're going to be much more susceptible to those attacks than in these tiny rooms. Ouch. Okay, last phase, here we go. Saving grace here, honestly, is that we have a crap ton of health. So 180 max health in Act 1 is pretty solid. Not usually where you are in Act 1. Alright, a couple of lucky crits and we can finish this up. Nice. Okay, very happy to not have lost a life there. I think that's best case outcome for us.
Innocent.
Okay, so pretty good Act 1.
Here's to a pleasant voyage on the Aspen.
We do have to sell something, which I'm concerned about. Let's see. I think quick recovery is very important to us. I think Holy Shield is pretty good too, so I think Thunder Dash is what's on the chopping block here. Let's sell Thunder Dash. And then we need to figure out what do we want for Act 2. I think our best bet is to go Aphrodite. Aphrodite would be great for our spin build, to be able to apply weak and have a decent damage modifier on it. On top of that, the Aphrodite Artemis duo increases crit damage when they're weakened, which I think is really strong too.
Go with that one.
I would say that One unfortunate part of this game, as it's balanced right now, is I feel that I almost always take Aphrodite going into Act 2. Very rarely do I not. Because Act 2, I'm looking for a mixture of mitigation and damage, and that's exactly where Aphrodite sits. And it's not bad. I like that she's a flexible goddess, but I think maybe there needs to be one other god that's a good like Act 2 pick, so that it's not the only pick or the best pick every time.
I can take it.
Can you re-roll into... No, you do not. You cannot re-roll into unique rooms, and you cannot re-roll unique rooms into something else. Okay. Well, these are options. Okay. I think we need to take Abyssal Flourish here. I'm not sure that we're a special build as our main source of damage yet. We might end up being a spin build, but special is what we have right now. So I think Abyssal Flourish is the way to go here, and it'll also greatly increase our criticals
Power of
off our special.
chaos.
I do not want
What
this
else we
help.
got?
Give me something else. I'll even take money, that's fine. Alright, let's break some pillars. Oh, not gonna have time to break pillars. On one pillar, there we go. Wow. This is the first room of Act 2, Twitch chat, and we have like 6 elite monsters. What the crap is that? I would love multi-skewer with this build. I think being able to bounce our sphere around would definitely make us a lot stronger. At least for hallway fights, not so much for boss fights.
Not a chance.
Luckily, Zagreus Aspect makes dealing with these projectiles pretty easy. So we're doing pretty well here.
More.
Definitely missing that Zeus dash a little bit, as we used to be able to do some damage while dashing around like this. Oh, we got a heat room over there? I don't know how I feel about that heat room. We're gonna have to... We'll have to see when we're done with this room where we stand. Alright, this should be the last monster. Nice.
I'll just take
Get
that.
some money. We get almost full health. We can take some gemstones here. I think I saw a chest up here as well. Or a shop, rather. For another Chaos Gate. Alright, and what are room rewards here? Shop or a Palm of Power? Okay. So here's what I think I want to do. Gemstones. What I think I want to do is buy this Chaos Gate for 40. Then take this shop. As much as I would like this Hermes, I think that there's a good chance that we fail this heat room with our current build because we're just not that strong and we're currently cursed. And I still want something on our attack, and I think the shop might get us there. So this is what I want to do, I think.
Greetings, Karen. How much?
Okay, Zeus, so if we take this Zeus, I think it's mostly just for cell fodder later on. So let's take the Palm of Power and make our Deadly Flourish better. Then onward to this Aphrodite. Now the unfortunate part is if this mini boss room is the Barge of Death, I think we're in real trouble. Hey, Partial Charge. Welcome to the stream, and Happy New Year. Alright, so due to the mineral management heat buff, both of these enemies are empowered. The Giant Gorgon now teleports around, and the Swamp now has this area of effect attack that comes out from it. In general, I think the teleport is not that big of a deal. The Thwomp's area of effect attack is pretty damaging if it hits you, so you have to manage it pretty closely. That's how I feel about this counter. Interestingly enough, the old version of middle management that made these enemies harder would add to an additional Gorgon and an additional Thwomp to this room. I feel that that was way harder than the current iteration. So when they customize the effects that middle management has on individual fights, I think it made this fight easier to deal with. Which is good, because this could like legit kill people pretty hard before. Although I feel that Death Barge is now that way. If you've got middle management and you have to fight Death Barge, oof, that can end your run. Alright. What do you got, Aphrodite?
How you must yearn to reach the surface, little goblin. It likewise stirs in me a yearning to assist you by all means at my disposal.
Here's a yearning in her, huh? Okay. Scattershot gives us a cast. I'm not super excited about that. Passion Dash gives us damage and the ability to inflict P. Or we can take Life Affirmation, which gives us more rewards over the course of the run. We already have... We took Premium Vintage, right? Yeah, so we've already got Premium Vintage. So I guess we should take Life Affirmation then as well, right? Kind of really lead into this max health build that we're looking at. Hey, Guard Dog of War, Happy New Year. It is going quite well so far. Just got back from vacation and ready to play some video games after a week of socializing with my family. Doing a Dark Souls 3 SL1. I'm unfamiliar with SL1. What's SL1? Nameless King is beating the absolute pants off me. Nameless King beats the pants off of everyone.
Might as well.
Level 1. Oh, like you're playing the whole game level 1? Goodness. That sounds incredibly difficult. Okay, so I'm not interested in getting more darkness. I am somewhat interested in getting more max health. Dash attack, we still have nothing empowering our attack, so... So I don't think Slothful Lunge is the way to go here. I think we gotta go Caustic Soul. Even though I tend to take a lot more damage from these Inferno Bombs than I really should. Let's take Darkness since we have Life Affirmation now. I think you would appreciate Dark Souls, Mariswith. I've only played Dark Souls 3, so I can't speak to the other ones, but it's very difficult, very high skill game. I watched Sneaky Teak do a complete playthrough of it. I also played through it myself, although I played through as a magic user, which apparently makes the game a lot easier, because I didn't have anywhere near as much trouble as Teak did. The true boss of the king fight is the camera. Yeah, that's absolutely true. I would say also there's two parts to that. Nameless King, the camera is terrible. In addition to that, the hitbox of the king is way bigger than what you expect, and a lot of areas that have nothing to do with the model will still hit you. So I think that's another thing that makes it really difficult. I have not played Dark Souls 2, so I unfortunately don't get that reference. Well, I mean, we're doing decent damage here. And we're doing relatively safe damage, right? Safe enough that I'm able to read chat while we're fighting. So I think we're actually in a pretty good position here. I think the biggest problem is going to be our single target damage is not that great right now. Most of what's making us safe in these hallway fights is our range, not necessarily the amount of damage we do. So I think we still have some scaling up to do before we'll be able to, say, take the Act 3 bosses on. Oh, I stood right in that bomb. That was bad. As much as I love life affirmation, oh, bomb from off screen there, huh? As much as I love life affirmation, I'm really missing the ability to apply weakness here.
Switch to no effect.
I deeply adore all the Souls in adjacent games. Yeah, the first Souls game that I ever played was Bloodborne, and no one had ever talked to me about a Dark Souls game before. I had no idea what to expect, and I found that game maddening until I realized that it's supposed to be that way. Alright, 268 gold. We were not running with any convenience fee, so I think taking this could be good. Gemstones, though? I mean, we have to start getting gemstones at some point if we ever plan to get to these last upgrades.
Don't make me laugh.
Let's try and do it. So, interestingly enough, my favorite thing about Dark Souls 3, I don't like these enemies. I think we're just going to leave. Let's go to this shop. One really awesome thing that I got out of watching Peak stream Dark Souls is that there were several people on stream who were complete, like, absolute lore enthusiasts about the Dark Souls game, and so every time we picked up stuff or it made a reference to some really vague corner of the world or story, they were able to explain it, and that was an awesome experience because there's actually a lot of depth to it, but you have to really care and really dig into it to get that depth. And I don't quite care enough to do that, but to have people on hand who knew it was awesome.
Power of Olympus.
All right, let's take our Deadly Flourish here. Now, the unfortunate part is we're gonna have to sell Life Affirmation, Quick Recovery, Premium Vintage, or Holy Shield in between these acts because we were given no chance to get other blessings, unfortunately.
You touch me, and I shall have your head.
Alright. So with only one extreme measures, this Hydra fight should be relatively simple for us, I think. We're also rocking 226 max HP, which is a really good place to be in for Act 2. We are still cursed, by the way. We have the bomb curse active during this fight. I don't expect it to be a big problem with the Hydra heads. If we get a green Hydra head that spawns a bunch of skeletons, it could come into play. But for the base enemies, I don't think it'll be a big deal. And yes, you can just bail. With chests, you are not locked into the room. You can just leave if you want to. Not too worried about these purple heads over here. Pink heads, mildly disconcerting, but no big deal. The green heads that I'm concerned about because of our curse. The rest of these, I think we can just play it safe and be good. We still have one healing item up in the right-hand corner there, in case we need it. Traps and Stick Temple are no joke with Extreme Measures 1. You mean heightened security? You're running 400% increased damage? Yeah. The traps and temple of sticks are nasty. It's okay. I don't remember what the things are half the time. And for what it's worth, I was trying to talk to the developers at PAX about like some of the heat modifiers, and they couldn't remember what half of them were called either. So it's not just us. Oh, was not expecting that to be a red head for some reason. There was no reason for that. I should have expected it, but it didn't. Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay. Well, I spent so much time worrying about us having a bunch of green heads that I didn't consider how bad having 4 red heads simultaneously might be. If we can clear off this side, I think we'll be okay. Because the projectiles from the far heads can't quite make it over here. Still have to deal with the projectiles from the head in the middle, though. Mariswith says, I'm up to 5 feet on all weapons, 6 on a few. That's awesome, Mariswith. Congratulations. I did see somebody yesterday, briefly, playing at 25 feet. But they just whined at the game the whole time, so they looked like they were a good player, but I just couldn't stand their streaming style, so unfortunately I didn't stay and watch, but very cool that there's a lot more people playing it. In fact, another streamer that I actually hadn't watched in a long time, I used to watch all the time back when Teak was primarily streaming Darkest Dungeon. His name is Old Man Sethis, has been streaming Hades, and that's been really cool to watch.
Enough.
So Mariswith, now being an established Hades player, what is your favorite weapon and spec?
That victory of yours shall be short-lived.
What are you, the 3 fates?
I will not ask where your fingers were. Okay, as I suspected, it gave us quick recovery, life affirmation, or holy shield. This sucks. I think it might actually be quick recovery here. I think I'm more scared of getting into a situation where we take a bunch of repeated hits and take a shit ton of damage. Quick recovery only recovers from the last hit that you took, not if you take a bunch of hits all at once. I think holding on to Holy Shield here might be better. So let's sell quick recovery.
Cleaner already.
Save this money, I think. What keepsake do we want going in here? We need something for our spin. We've used up our Aphrodite to get life affirmation. But I guess we go Athena here? I guess that makes sense. Favorite, rail with triple fire and rockets, or triple fire special, or spread shot and explosive shot. Okay, so I'm seeing a pattern. You really like the rail. We actually haven't done a rail run here in a while. What's your favorite aspect of the rail?
That's what the outside world is like.
Alright, there's a Daedalus Hammer. I'm happy to see that. We'd really like to Daedalus Hammer our special in some way. In particular, I think Vicious Skewer could be great. Armor Skewer also could be fantastic for us, although I think Vicious Skewer probably better overall right now. To be completely honest, I would take Exploding Launcher too. Exploding Launcher actually could be fantastic. Bye, Chariots.
Just in time.
Finally some Shades. Took a while to run into Shades in Act 3, actually.
What's responding?
Nope. That was just a bad situation right there. Unfortunately, these chariots get so nasty with increased run speed. So I think what happens with the chariots is I think they get to double dip. So the attack speed increase heat modifier says increase attack speed and increase move speed. I think for chariots, their attack speed is their move speed, or is a modifier to their move speed. But I think they get double benefit from it.
The curse of chaos has expired.
Well, there's Vicious Skewer. You could also take either Armor Skewer or Massive Spin. As much as I'd love to take Massive Spin, all of our damage comes from our special right now, so I think we gotta take Vicious Skewer. The way to go. So then what? We take Hermes and try and make our special faster. Wordsworth says, another great build I enjoy is Flurry Bow. Oh yeah, Flurry Bow is good. Depending on what build you have, right? You have to have the right pieces to make it come together. Wait, but okay, so the Erebus aspect though, right? Like, you were saying that you really like the rocket and the triple rockets, right? But those aren't very compatible with Erebus aspect. That's my biggest problem with it, honestly, is I feel like some of the best special upgrades you can't really take with it. Yes, it is. By what? Like shooting it at point blank range? How else do you stand in the blast? Oh yeah. So if you stand at point blank range, yeah, I agree with that. I think that gets pretty nasty if you're running with 100% increased damage though. Of course, Void Stones. I'm at 5 or 6 heat, so my perspective is different. I guess that's true. I think for me, right, like, when I think of, like, 5 or 6 heat, I think of what I was playing at 5 or 6 heat, and what I was playing was, like, damage was always the first thing that I turned up. Mostly because in the old heat system, the damage increase went all the way up to 500%. So running at 100% increase was a very reasonable amount, and so I don't feel bad turning it all the way up in the new heat system. But that makes sense. Yeah, I didn't, sorry. I was projecting my own experience and thinking, oh, at 5 or 6 heat, you must be running 100% damage increase. That makes sense. Okay. Flurry cast is right out. We're just not casting. I do want to complete this prophecy at some point, but I'm confident someday we'll have a cast build and we'll take it. So let's take Greatest Reflex here. Drift Dash I think is good, but often makes you so fast that it's difficult to control your character. I would love to take this heart, but I think that an Aphrodite might be even... Aphrodite and Athena might be even better. Yeah, I want these two, and 280 max health is already in a pretty good position. Currently, I'm rolling with Extreme Measures 1, 25 damage, 20 mobs, 15 HP, 10 move attack, 400 trap damage. Yeah, that sounds like a pretty reasonable setup. Alright, we're going to have an option to take a heat room here, which I'm kind of excited about. We're definitely not going to take Athena first, so pro tip, if you've never had to fight Athena's empowered ads in Act 3, it freaking sucks. Don't do it if you can avoid it.
In the name of Hades.
Because what happens is you're gonna fight shades, right? That's what you do. You're gonna kill the shades, and they're gonna spawn into their little forms, and then they're going to be made invulnerable by Athena's shield, and you're not gonna be able to kill them, and they'll respawn with full health. They made that a little bit better, but it still is very frustrating. Alright, let's take this Divine Strike as an attack that we can use. We may end up selling it between the acts, but that's fine. Oh, of course they're all shields. Well, that's super annoying. Alright. Gonna be somewhat slow going then. That's okay though. We can make it work. Ouch. Again, maybe not. I actually think an Artemis now could really do a lot of work for us. Since we have Vicious Skewer, we're critical striking a lot. And so if we can empower our critical strikes, I think that'll be pretty good. I'm going to use my dash attack just to interrupt them from respawning. I think we'll also have to fight one other wave of ads here. The annoying part here is it's not Aphrodite's empowerment that's making these annoying. It's just that elite shields are annoying, right? Alright, we're dead. Alright, don't be shields this time. Oh yeah, okay. Well, we got one that's not a shield, two that aren't shields, okay. I mean, better than all shields, but still not super excited about it. Alright, that one we can get. Taking a lot of damage in here. I normally expect to take a decent amount of damage in trial rooms, but this has been a little more than what I expected. So we're gonna need to find some way to heal here. Which I think unfortunately means that we're probably not gonna take this heat room, but we'll have to see what the reward is. Alright, with one shield left, we can deal with one shield. It's multiple shields that are the problem with this build. Alright, Aphrodite, give us a way to apply weakness. Okay. I don't know if they fixed Aphrodite's aid, at least it doesn't show in the patch notes, so I am not taking this. I'm going to take Dying Lament instead. It says when slain, foes damage other nearby foes and inflict weakness. We're running with 2 charges of invulnerability, and so the problem is that the rats in Act 4 are going to have 2 charges of invulnerability plus potentially armor, and so we need ways to like clear those out, and Dying Lament really helps with that. Hey Vale. Even with Zagreus Spear level 5 feels so slow. Well, remember that Zagreus Spear at level 5 travels the exact same speed as the normal spear, right? Because the speed is increased by 150%, but so is the range. So if you're throwing it full range, it's actually moving. It takes the exact same amount of time for it to travel forward and back. Yeah, Happy New Year. Okay, I don't feel super comfortable taking a mini-boss right here. I don't want to lose a life. I'm not going to take this darkness. Dionysus still has positive outlook, which could be really good for us. But I think the best thing to do is to re-roll this room and see if we can't get a Hardened, maybe. Or Artemis. I will happily take an Artemis here. We also could have re-rolled the heat room. I think the problem is I'm not super comfortable in this build to not be able to take any damage. We just don't have the consistency of damage to make me feel like that. And the rooms like the, let's say, Elite Chariot, for instance, or the Champion Chariot, I think not only would we not do well against that, but we'd take a bunch of damage. And I don't want to trade a bunch of damage for no reward. I think that's too risky. So if there was like an Artemis already sitting in that heat room, I would have considered it. But I don't think Dionysus already having premium vintage was worth the risk. So that was my reasoning behind that. Okay. I want to get rid of these bows so that I can start focusing on these shields. Okay, got it. Now we just need to get rid of this other shield. Ah. You are not responding. That is not going to happen, buddy. Alright, I would just blow through this shield and we're good to go. Is there going to be another wave? There might be. Alright. Strangely, even though I really don't like the projectile patterns of the witches, the fact that witches just don't have to be killed twice actually makes me very happy to see witches in Act 3. It's like, oh, enemies that stay dead. I'm so excited. Alright. That purple orb is somewhat of a problem for us. There's a couple of purple orbs. Okay, well, let's try and focus this one down if we can. We do have a chest in here, so we're going to get a chance to heal. We don't know what kind of heal that might be. It might end up being like an Eye of Lamia, which is not an immediate heal. But having any heal at all is a thing that we really need right now, so I'm happy to see it. Let's get rid of this. There we go. Oh, that was a nice shot. I'll have to give him that. I thought for sure I had dodged that, and got me anyways. Alright.
Barely got through.
Artemis, be worth it. Right, Artemis's Call. This gives us 1200 damage with a 35% chance to crit. It's pretty good. Deadly Reversal, this is going to be really strong in hallway fights and really useless against bosses. But honestly, with Vicious Skewer, like, our critical chance is already, what, 80%? So another 20% is not that big of a deal for us. So I think we take Artemis's aid here.
The might of the Huntress.
Okay, it is an Eye of Lamia. Room 30. So if we take this, we might be still cursed for the boss, which is unfortunate. I'm not confident enough in our damage. Am I confident enough in our damage? Ah, screw it. No risk, no reward, right? Let's take this chaos. We'll take this shop. You have the option to lose life this time? Well, I have a secret weapon for fixing our life problem.
Yum.
Alright, let's take this Dionysus. Hopefully we get positive outlook. Would be great. An epic roll on After Party, actually not bad. Let's take this. I like the buff on After Party, by the way. After Party used to max out at 30% life, and it was pretty useless at 30% life. I think that 30% is now the common roll for After Party instead of the epic, but it used to be the epic was 30%. At 30%, it just feels bad. Like, the only time that it's at all useful is when you've pretty much lost the run already. It just did not feel good. I think Flame Wheels plus bows are one of the worst combinations, the most devious combinations, because you just get forced into dodging into places that you don't want to be, and then you end up taking shots. But I think our life is going to be in a good place, but if by the end of this room our life is looking suspect, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Boldy and summon some life. That's the plan. Oh, we got elite bows this time. Yikes. It's even spookier. I could tell the bows were elite when they weren't on the screen because they were shooting 3 shots instead of 1. Good thing to remember if you're having to do Act 3. Alright. We're playing a dangerous game up on the top of the part of this room because there's 4 crisscrossing arrow traps. And one of those arrow traps, if it hits us, will do probably 180 damage to us. which is actually worse than any of these other enemies hitting us. So,
Weak.
wish I had a slightly better way of dealing with flame wheels at this point. We'll let one respawn there, it'll be fine. Let's kill this one. Hopefully this was the last wave, otherwise that would have been a pretty big waste. Alright.
Much better.
That puts us up to 317 max life. Take a look at what our room rewards are. Ooh. Rockless. I have to think about that. Okay. So if we take Patroclus, we'll get Sustain. But we don't really need the Sustain right now. I think I'm going to pop us up. I'm going to take the Chaos.
Alright.
And then we'll just do our best against the Act 3 boss. I think we're in pretty good position right now. If we were running extreme measures for the Act 3 boss, I would be uncomfortable with our current build. But I think it'll be okay. Well, now this is a hot load of garbage right here. We're definitely not going to do Flayed Soul. I would love the 53 max health, especially with Life Affirmation. But our special is our only source of damage, and we can't have that curse on for the last boss. Similarly, I think Slothful Lunge is probably nasty for us. Having move speed reduction against the last boss is going to cost us a lot of life. So even though it's not really going to help us, I think Caustic Shot is what we have to take.
Withstand the whims of chaos to extract the benefits a few chambers from now.
Alright, let's take Darkness here. Since we have Life Affirmation, we'll get extra life from it. You have the option to lose life. I'm not sure how I feel about it costing life to go in and see Chaos. I feel like Chaos's curses in and of themselves are good enough balance that if it does cost life to take Chaos, I don't think it should cost as much as it does. I think the curses can be the balance for that. I don't think it needs life as well. Oof. The funny thing I find about these Inferno Bombs is that they actually are really easy to dodge. I'm just really good at forgetting about them and then not dodging.
My sight.
I think a lot of that has to do with once I know that an enemy's gonna die, I start focusing on whatever the next thing is. And if the next thing is nothing, if there's no other enemies, I just start to screw off and, you know, I look at chat, I do other things instead of paying attention, and then the bomb just comes out of nowhere and hits me. Oh right, I can deflect bombs. I forgot about that. Ooh, a chariot. Nope. Let's pull this chariot over and just nuke it to death with our call if we can. Do it. Too many of them went into the shade. That's okay. It died to the trap. Due to Zagreus aspect, our range makes us pretty safe against most enemies, but these chariots still present significant risks to us. Even with our 5 dodges or whatever it is we have. Yeah. Alright, well let's kill the ones that are gonna stay dead. So like, let's kill this witch. Kill some of these chariots. Like, as long as we have a long enough runway, we can avoid the chariots with our dashes. The problem will be if we end up getting cornered. Alright, that witch is gone. I think almost all of the damage I've taken in this room has been to bombs. Freaking curse. No, that's not gonna happen, buddy.
Look what I found.
Another 7 max health. Nice. This is gonna be the room before the boss. I'm gonna take this heart. Get another 34 max health. 358 max health. Pretty good place to be. Now in terms of downsides, we're cursed. So that's one significant downside. Another downside is we have a lot of max health, but we don't really have a lot of damage reduction. In fact, I don't think we have any damage reduction. No, we don't have any damage reduction at all. So we've got a lot of max life, but when we get hit, we take full damage, and that's not a great spot to be in. Usually in Act 3, I'm looking to have some pretty good mitigation, particularly before this fight. Now for this fight, we should be able to just use our Spear Throw to pierce Theseus' shield. My plan is going to be to try and push Theseus first. We'll see if the Spear auto-aim is willing to accept that, though. Ooh. I thought I still had time to dodge right there. Alright, taking a lot more poke damage from the Minotaur than I expected to. Alright, Theseus should be almost at phase 2 here. I even saw that coming a second before it went off. Alright, so the plan is we'll push Theseus into phase 2. Oops, I thought we had full Greater Call, but apparently not. Okay.
Damn it.
So we lost 1 life. That's okay. Kind of expected to lose a life here. As long as we can avoid losing 2, I think we'll be okay. Yeah, there's... The good news is you heal for a percentage of your max health when you die. So our increased max health actually makes each of our lives worth more. We should be just about done. There he goes. Okay. Now we can focus on the bull. Bucket bull. Oh, okay. Well, wasn't paying a lot of attention there because I really expected that Greater Call to phase change him. I expected we'd have a second of free time. Clearly that was not a good assumption. Oh, not a second life versus... So this tends to be the problem with builds like this, by the way, is that we do fine damage in hallway fights, but our ability to fight bosses is a little less. That being said, I think maybe we should have killed the bull first. GG. Alright, that was a little rough, but we've still got 1 life. We have plenty of opportunity to buy some more lives here in Act 4, so I think we'll be okay.
Cerberus is patiently
Definitely taking the Chaos was a bad plan, but we couldn't have known that Chaos was going to give us nothing useful at all. Crap. So here we have to give up either Dying Lament, Divine Strike, or Greatest Reflex. I think Dying Lament is going to do a lot of work for us against the small rats in this act. Greatest Reflex is going to do a lot of work in the last boss, so I actually think Divine Strike is what we have to give up here. I'm going to save my money because I want to buy more lives. Alright, so what do we take going into this? We could just take Skull Earring, or not Skull Earring, Lucky Tooth, and get 150 max health or 150 health from a life. We could also take Cerberus Collar and bump our max health even higher, but this is only really going to be great if we get extra lives. Or we could take Myrmidon's Bracer, right? That will solve our damage reduction problem. Oh, I should have used, crap. You know, I should have used Boldy in that fight to heal. I'm so bad at these summons, Twitch chat. I agree. I think Myrmidon's here is really good because we have no other means of reduction. Now, for all we know, we're going to get into Act 4 and immediately be given bronze skin in different league, but, you know, no way to know for sure until we get there.
The Underworld's entryway. Shiny.
Well, okay, we definitely weren't offered those things. 2 Zeuses sitting here, which is just garbage at this point. Okay. So I think we take this money first in order to get to the position where we could potentially buy 2 lives with the money that we have. Just be careful of taking the backswing from the sweep, but we have 5 dashes, right? So we should be able to dash all the way through the backswing. Should be okay. All right, let's take this money first.
This one, I guess.
Our main goal here is try and buy more lives. That is the plan du jour. Come here, rat. The armored rats in these rooms are just horrifying. Their melee damage is really high, and there's nowhere to run here, right? Fortunately, our special does stun, so once the armor is down, we're good to go.
The boon I got from Chaos has a new effect.
The good thing about being cursed going into Act 4, if such a thing exists, is that each one of these rooms counts as an encounter, each one of the small rooms. So you're only cursed for like one small room and then you get out of it. Kind of sad that we ended up getting Vicious Skewer. I think if we had gotten an option to take Exploding Launcher, I think this run would have been absolutely on fire. That 80 base damage would be pushing these crits into the like 600s or 700s, probably. So bad at dodging satyrs. You know what? I can. Oh no, I can't deflect with my attack anymore. Never mind. We just sold that. I was like, I'll just deflect with my... Oh, wait, I can't do that.
More snake stones.
Alright, snake stones, it looks like. We do have a shop here, so there's a chance that the life that we want resides right there. We do have the money for it. Should it be available to us? I will say that when they changed it so that you can only buy back lives that you've lost, I thought that it was going to have a really huge impact on how I played the game, because prior to that, definitely getting a bunch of lives and a bunch of max health was the main thing that we did in Act 4. I think it's been more balanced than that. I think it's relatively fair, whilst, you know, like buying lives is still really rewarding and really powerful, even though you can't just stack up on them anymore. Yeah, so Athena can also potentially give us back a life, which is what Vale is talking about. And that's definitely why I'm not planning to re-roll that Athena that's currently there. For exactly that reason. Yikes. Exploding Launcher or Multi-Skewer, either one of those would have made us so much more effective in these fights right here. I think what I see about our damage right now, based on how we're doing this room, is I don't think we're going to be able to take the champion rooms here. So unless we are forced to take them, we're probably not going to. blast some enemies. Alright. Throw us a life. No life. I am going to buy this heal. We definitely can't afford to lose another life. I'm sure of that. What else was in here? We don't care about that other stuff. Alright, well that's unfortunate. We're going to go into this Athena though. Hopefully we're still offered the chance.
Maybe it's in here.
We do still have quick spin, even though we don't have anything making our attack better. So against those small rats, I probably should be quick spinning more. They don't care how much damage you do anyways. One hit always removes one of their stats. Yeah, so like here we can quick spin more. That should see us do a little bit better here. Alright. Alright, for this one, we basically just have to make sure that we don't get hit by this trap. The whole room. Get hit by a bunch of rats, whatever. If we get hit by this trap, we'll lose 180 health. Avoid the trap. That being said, I wish we had some kind of a... Oh. Okay. Well, that's much sooner than I expected.
In the name of Hades.
Okay, I think we're gonna have to take more rooms here to try and get some of these lives back. So I think Divine Dash is our best...
The shield of light.
Is the thing that makes us best at hallways. Although, pretty unfortunate there. Was really hoping to get one of the Athena booms that allows us to restore life. Let's reroll this palm. Artemis. I mean, we could keep rerolling this. The only other thing that we could roll it into that would be good would be an Athena, because we can't get a heart thanks to this one being a heart. Take this Artemis. Hope to buy a life in here on our way. Depending on what our build looks like by the time we are done with these hallways and decide which elite hallways we want to take, we might end up buying the Hermes from the Act 4 shop. Swift Flourish would actually be really good for this build. It would dramatically increase our damage output. So this room right here shows exactly why I took the dash. Is we were taking a lot of damage from these little rats, but with 5 dashes and the ability to do damage on dash, we now immediately destroy the little rats. On life? Oh, come on. Game, why? Why would you do this to me? So right there I got hit by an explosion because I thought that my dash had reflected it, and so I didn't move out of the way. No, you don't, Snake Statue, you go down. Now that we're at only 1 Snake Statue left. Onwards to Artemis Glory. I'm gonna say we've already seen the fountain room, so we can guarantee that this is not going to be a free room, unfortunately. saw those giant rats, I was like, yes, let it just be giant rats.
Poisoned. Better.
With just giant rats, we could just stay at range and always be okay.
Attack with me?
As soon as the satyr is in the mix, then that kind of goes out the window. I think the satyr died to our ult there.
Finish with these.
Alright, snake statue is my #1 kill here.
Next.
Statue's down. I think we should be pretty okay from here on out. For a second there, I thought there was another wave. I was like, wow, that's so many enemies. Alright, we're given an option to... Well, first of all, we're given garbage rolls. 3 commons. Not what we were looking for. True Shot here can make our cast slightly better. We're not a cast build. This isn't going to make us a lot better. Hunter's Mark allows us to apply a critical strike debuff. Our critical chance is already extremely high, and this can't apply to the enemy we hit, so it won't make us better for the last boss. But I think we take pressure points here. Just a 3% increased chance to crit. Not very good, but it's kind of what we got.
Could check the other passageways before I go.
Alright, we can buy these Hermes and still have enough for a life, so let's do that. Quick recovery gives us some sustain.
Move, Hermes.
And unfortunately, I think we need to
Which
take
tunnel?
these rooms. We need another life back, I think. So I'm going to take
Let's see what's
this
in
room and hope that it works out. So we're running with middle management, which says mini-boss rooms are harder.
Ahoy, Prince!
And so these mini-boss rooms are going to be quite difficult, which is why I was avoiding them. But I don't think we can avoid them anymore. I think without getting a life back, we have no chance of winning this last fight. Freaking satyrs. Oh god, there's another one? Of course there's another one. You know what? Let's just throw at you, huh?
Darkness.
Alright, well we're back up to 300 health, thanks to the magic of Boldy. Planning to use Boldy against the mini-boss as well. Unless we somehow kill the mini-boss without taking any damage. I'm totally into, but suspect won't happen.
Hello, mates.
One of the things I'm really trying to get a lot better for is I've been playing this game since it launched last December or whatever it was, so over a year now. And only in this latest patch were summons introduced. And so I still forget about summons all the time, even though they're really an important part of the game now.
That's one of their layers.
Alright, well there's our champion. There's one of them anyways. We'll have to fight 2 champions here. Good news from our perspective is, as soon as the champions die, the other adds... Oh crap, I thought I was out of range of that. Ooh. Alright, well that was a big mistake. That's gonna cost us a lot of health. Alright, champion is almost done. It is. We'll have to fight one more champion. Where is it? Here it is.
Boldy. Ahoy!
I missed with Boldy. That's okay though. What I wanted was the light, so I don't mind missing with Boldy there.
Picked up their scent.
Poison.
Oh crap, where's the fountain? There it is. Actually, we should be able to probably kind of hide in this corner over here. As long as the ads don't spawn too close to us, that should be pretty safe. Yeah, as long as the ads don't spawn too close to us, I said. Freaking ad. Okay. These champions have a lot of armor, but they don't have a lot of health. And once its health is gone, we pretty much got this. So, or once its armor is gone, rather. Go. Alright, gotta kill the champ. Make sure this ad that we're about to kill doesn't respawn. Crap. There it is. Okay. Okay. So 68 max health here. More money. Oh god. I think we're gonna have to take this last champion. I loathe it. I loathe the necessity. But let's see what we can re-roll this into. Money? No, we don't need money. Aphrodite. Oh, roll it again. Ah. Okay, I think a heart is one of the other things that I'm willing to take here.
Don't spend it all in one place, mate.
Production could appear in Aphrodite, yeah. The problem is that the amount of production we would get from Aphrodite was very little compared to the value of one additional life for us. So re-rolling it to look for an Athena I thought was a better pick. Although looking back on it, maybe the ability to apply weakness was worth more than that. Probably was, actually. Alright, we're going to save the rest of this money just in case we can buy a heart, because we're going to try and do this. Well, there's a shop.
Keep it up.
I'm going to try and dash around a lot here. Anything. Come on, give me a life. Twitch chat, come on. That's, what, 3 or 4 shops we've seen in Act 4, none of which contained lives. I get it, it's an uncommon thing, but still. I feel like we should have seen it by now. Can't look at chat in big rat rooms. Good news is we still have a Boldy, so we do have some sustain still. In fact, we'll probably use our last Boldy against the champion room, just depending on which champions we have to fight. Merzwith says, I took Charon's keepsake into Act 4 recently and saw 0 wells. I cleared every hallway. I didn't think that was possible. Yeah, it's definitely possible. Very unlikely. But unfortunately, you got the tail end of that unlikeliness. Okay. So in this room, instead of getting to fight the champions independently, you have to fight them at the same time. Lots of fun. Good times were had by all. Luckily, the Satyr champion doesn't have a lot of health or armor. But this rat champion sure does. So still gotta deal with that. Oh crap. Alright.
Much better.
Of course, there's nothing in this room. Crap. Alright. Well, the good news is we have 501 max health. The bad news is we only have 1 life.
Always a pleasure, Carol.
So, are we going to be able to do this? I don't know. Let's upgrade Artemis's aid here. I guess buy the Zeus for some reason. Oh, hey, Billowing Strength. Sure.
I feel all tingly.
Clouded Judgment. Okay.
Thunder
Okay,
time.
you know what? I was poo-pooing on Zeus, but legitimately those are pretty good pickups going into this last fight. So now our
Thank you,
call
boy.
charges faster, which is good because our call does a huge amount of damage. In addition to that, we get a damage boost after each time we call. Yeah, we assembled a combo. I'm not gonna say it's like a winning combo, but we put something together that'll be
There's only
useful.
one thing left to do. Isn't that so, Father?
All right, plan here.
What is it called?
Avoid damage. As it turns out, that's almost always the plan against this boss, and it doesn't always come together, so we'll have to see how we do, but... The good news is we can reflect his cast with our dash, which is really the main thing we have to worry about from being far away. So I think as long as we just stay away and shoot at him, we should be okay through phase 1. That one's gonna blow up. Alright, ad phase we're not great against. We don't have any increased armor damage.
I know where you are.
We do have Dying Lament, which does make us a little better against the ads. And we can use the damage for the ads to help build up our fall, which would be helpful. Okay. I guess I shouldn't spend as much time killing the cast since we have 5 dashes. Chances of us getting hit by that cast are pretty low. So there, I watched the cast pop out of nowhere, which told me where Hades was, which is how I knew to start heading there. Alright, we've got our Greater Call. Probably not going to use it on the ad phase. I think we'll save it for just after the ad phase. We'll make sure that there's no casts up so that our call can't hit anything except Lord Hades, and then we'll just blast him with it. Whew. We'll say having 5 dashes and deflect on our dash certainly makes this a much safer fight. A much safer fight. Alright. Oh, yikes. Alright, nice. Pushed him through a whole phase with that. Have to watch out for these urns. We're running with 800% trap damage, and the urns do count as traps. So if we get hit by one of those, it'll do probably 180, 200 damage to us. Sorry, Pops, you can't fall. Alright, phase 2.5. Crap. This is one of our problems. Dale says you can hide inside him. Is that true? Holy crap, if that's true, that's awesome. I did not know that, and I've put a lot of hours into this game. Granted, at least half of those hours, Hades wasn't in the game, but still. Thank you so much. I'm gonna... I wasn't able to pull it off. Maybe I was just moving around too much. GG.
Again, you have defeated me somehow. And yet...
GG, Twitch chat. 19 heat spear run. Completely different than our last spear win, which was really based around the Hades aspect of the spear.
In the name of someone very
Feel pretty good
sore
about
right
that one.
now.
Alright, so how did this work? Avail says pulling off some bullshit dodges. Yeah, the combination of 5 dodges and reflect on the dodge really made me just be able to dodge through anything and not take damage, right? So Deadly Flourish was our main thing. It says your special is 122% stronger and deals 20% increased damage. This worked along with our Zagreus aspect. Oh, I'm sorry, not Zagreus aspects. What am I looking for? Vicious Skewer, wherever that is. Our list of things. No. There, all the way over, of course. So this says your special deals 50% increased damage and has a 50% chance to critical on the way back. So between these two things, we had a 70% chance to crit, which is very strong. That's where most of our damage came from. In terms of damage reduction, we really didn't have much. Basically, we just had a lot of health. That was our main mitigation strategy. Plus Greatest Reflex, 3 extra dashes really saved our shit in the Hades fight. We avoided so much damage by dashing all the way through his spear or having extra dashes to go through the exploding casts, things like that. Special props to Clouded Judgment and Billowing Strength. We got these right before we came into the Hades fight, which really allowed us to get off 2 good Artemis calls, which push damage really fast. Also, I think Myrmidon's Bracer here saved us a lot in the last act. And also, I'll say aggressively using Boldy. So using Boldy to push through the 2 champion fights, I think was a really good plan. I think we might do that again in the future. Titan Blood. Nice. GG.
Imagine that Prince Zagreus experiences some
Thanks,
sort
yeah,
of
that was a really
joyous
clean Hades
outcome
kill.
or change. In contrast to the arbitrary and unfortunately painful death he shall experience now.
Hey, Sneaky Teak. Happy New Year, my friends. Congratulations on the big move.
Not at all, really.
Welcome to the
If you are here to be interactive and not lurk, I would love to hear more about it. Although I suppose that if you're planning to stream later today, that I will hear more about it on your stream, but I'll take a preview too. I don't really want to trade for Darkness, although our Nectar doesn't really do a lot for us now either. Alright, we're gonna go look at what our next weapon is, and then I need to take a quick break because I'm doing the potty dance over here. Next weapon is gonna be the sword. And we're on Poseidon Aspect. Zagreus Aspect we were using for a speed run last time, so it'll be Poseidon Aspect on this run. That's what we're doing. Let me know what your favorite Poseidon Aspect builds are, so we can figure out what we're going to try and build this around. But I will be right back, Twitch chat. Thank you all so much for watching. Back in a moment. Twitch chat, hello. Welcome back. Sorry for that brief absence. My wife decided to do the Lord's work and order dinner for us, but from a new place, so I had to be more involved in the process. Well, thank you so much for stopping by, Sneaky Teak. Glad to hear it, and I hope to see you on your stream later.
Keepsakes hold power.
Alright, Boldy I think is just too powerful. We're gonna hold on to Boldy forever, and in fact, I'm gonna upgrade him again. Wait a minute. We had already upgraded him. That's strange. Okay. Hey, Marismith. Thanks for stopping by. Really appreciate it. Okay. So, we've got Poseidon Aspects. The thing that makes Poseidon Aspect special is that it increases your cast damage. Our cast do 75 damage instead of the base 50. And whenever we hit an enemy with our special, it makes all of our casts fall out. I think that the best option here is to take Artemis. The reason is Artemis has an ability called Exit Wounds. Those numbers are not correct. It's no longer 100, 200, and 300. I need to fix that. But Exit Wounds says every time a cast falls out of an enemy, they take damage. This is a really powerful ability in conjunction with the Poseidon Aspect. So I think that's really good. Also, Artemis just has a lot of things that empower casts, so I think taking that is a good move for us. I think that's what we're gonna do. Now let's see how much heat we need to run for this sword. So we only need to run at 15 heat. Take off Underworld Customs, or we were at 15, so we'll run at 17 this time. Let's take off an Underworld Customs. Let's take off a Hard Labor. Get rid of damage control. I guess we'll put the customs back and we'll do 1 convenience fee. I think this is pretty good loadout for the sword. One thing to remember, you're more likely to get hit with the sword since it's a melee weapon. Even though we're gonna try a gas build, is that increased damage has a bigger impact on the sword than it does most of the other weapons. So keep that in mind when you're running the sword. I tend to run it at lower, like 75 or 50 if I can get away with it. Alright, that looks good. And we already have our keepsake, right? Yep, we got our keepsake. Good.
You found me, Artemis.
The wretches whom you faced down there have died already, sometimes more than once. Should make for easy targets, right?
Easy for you to say, you don't have to fight them. Hey, there's True Shot. That makes our cast stronger. That's a good start. Let's do that.
My senses sharpen.
So already our crits, our casts are critting for 400. Quite good. Take Zeus. Take money. Take money.
I'm in.
I'd like to see you dodge the following.
Worthless.
Alright, these flame wheels are absolutely frightening for a sword. But luckily these thugs are not frightening for us. So there we go.
Mere luck is all.
If I won't miss a couple coins.
Well, we're trying not to pick Onion. That's the plan. Alright. These gems are money, this key is a reroll, or this is max health. Let's take the max health. We've got a pretty strong looking build right now. Our biggest problem is going to be that we need a way to do area of effect damage. Right now we don't have one. So we need to be on the lookout for something that makes our special better,
Right, who's next?
or some other way to do area of effect damage. In particular, I'm worried about Death Barge in Act 2. If we get that fight, we may die unless we find some other way to do damage to multiple enemies.
Sweet nectar.
Do we want to take Ares? Ares does have a couple of things. Actually, I think Ares here could be good. So Ares does have some ways to improve casts, but in addition to that, let's say that we get Ares Special, which is usually pretty good for most weapons anyway. We can use the special to apply a curse, but we can apply that curse while we're in between, like we do 3 casts. We hit him with our special, which applies the curse, knocks out our cast, and then we collect our cast while the curse is going off. I actually think that could be really strong. Let's take this Ares.
Louts.
Oof.
Who dies next?
That Lout thought he was big shit, Twitch chat, and we just punched right through him. Whew.
Lord
He's
Ares.
strong. Alright, Ares, what do you got? Okay, so Slicing Shot is really strong. The problem is, if we do not get the Ares Artemis combo that goes along with Slicing Shot, it's pretty useless. And if we take Slicing Shot, we will not have an Artemis boon, which means that we cannot get the duo right away. So I think I'm just going to take Urge to Kill here.
Violence.
Let's make sure we see
Should help
a
keep me
trove.
going. Let's see what's up for sale.
Okay, there's more Artemis. Let's do that.
I'll take it.
Exit wounds. Yeah. The bad roll on it, but maybe we can upgrade it in the next act. What about Dionysus? I'm not super excited. Let's try something else. More Artemis. If I must, Twitch chat.
You and me.
So in particular, what we're looking for from Artemis now is Burst Shot, which allows us to fire 2 casts at the same time. Got him. Alright, show me Burst Shot. No Burst Shot. Deadly Strike, Artemis's Aid, or Quick Reload. We don't need Quick Reload because we can use our special to knock our casts out of enemies. Deadly Strike, okay, but not great. Let's take Artemis's Aid here. We'll probably end up selling it between the acts, but we'll see. We already have 7 rerolls. I think that's enough. Let's take the money instead. I was really, really hoping for Burst Shot right there. I mean, it was a lot to ask for because that would have made us so strong. So one of the things that we're weak against right now is armor, because we do massive hits, but you can't overkill armor. So for enemies that are armored, our first shot basically gets absorbed by their armor, even though it's probably enough to outright kill them. Like all of their armor and health at the same time. I think it would actually be pretty cool, the new
Gemstones.
Olympian that they're adding in the next patch, if one of their abilities allowed you to bypass armor in some way like that, I think it would be pretty cool.
You shall pay for that.
I don't know how confident I am in this chest, because we don't really have good ways of doing area of effect damage. All of our damage is kind of single target. But if it starts to get dicey, we'll just abandon and move on to the next room. You are not required to finish a chest that you start. But I think we're fine. We could have avoided that last hit had I played better, but I still think we did pretty well. Alright, Palm of Power, that's going to make our True Shot stronger, most likely. Okay, I'm into it.
I thought I'd find it here.
I think we have enough damage to already solve the Act 1 boss. So now I'm worried. Now I'm like, okay, well, let's find ways to mitigate better, and let's find ways to do area of effect damage. I think those are the things that we need to be focusing on with this build now. Interestingly, I hear a lot of people say that they don't feel that Artemis's cast is that strong. I have to say that I really disagree with that. It has so much going for it. Not only can it crit and bypass shields, but it also has that really nice homing ability to it. And now that it crits as well, like, that's so strong.
Fine, get out.
Well, that's better.
Alright, let's make our True Shot better. As good as our Exit Wounds is, since our True Shot can crit, improving its base damage will improve our crit damage even more. Not to mention, if we do end up getting Burst Shot does a percentage of the base damage with your second projectile. And so the stronger our first projectile is, the better our second one is. Like I said, I'm now kind of looking for mitigation and area damage, but if I see another Artemis, I'm not going to pass it up. So getting Burst Shot is a very real possibility. Alright, we got our 5 max health. Okay, but here, this heart is mitigation, so we're definitely taking this. Hey, nice, we get a heal too.
That's better.
Alright, I gotta take this max health. So part of the reason why I haven't bought the expensive cosmetic items yet is that in most cases, when I'm offered a chance to take gems, there's always a better choice. And so we just haven't taken as many gems as we've wanted to. Back before we had the upgrades that made it so that the currency items do additional things, it was actually easier to take gems because no matter what you took, nothing would help your run. But now, when I have the option of taking a little bit of money that comes from gems, or taking a palm upgrade, or taking max health, getting a little bit of money is just nothing compared to those other two things.
For safekeeping.
Granted, it's not a lot of max health, but it's still max health. Okay. We're definitely going to take a Chaos Gate. We'd love to get more casts. We'd love to see our casts do more damage, and Chaos can possibly give us either one of those. Palm of Power.
Should be useful.
Let's upgrade our True Shot again. Which means we're going to do a lot of damage in this first fight here. Let's see who it is. The unlucky contestant is the Symphony, and we only have one extra Fury, which is nice. Okay. I think this will go well for us, Twitch chat. That's what I suspect. Got it. Man, our damage is so high. Our single target damage just off the charts.
in blood.
I don't think there is a boss in the game already that can really deal with us. Like, we don't have enough health to be able to take the last boss right now,
Don't mind me.
but we could fight the third boss right now and be just fine. I don't remember if we have to sell or not. If we have to sell, we're going to sell Urge to Kill, I think. We'll just see. Alright, so what are we going to take in terms of relics, huh? We need mitigation. So ways to get mitigation: Aphrodite, Athena. We're not missing any lives, which makes Athena a little worse. But I think we're going to end up taking Aphrodite here.
Should help.
Alright, if I don't have to sell, I'm not going to. But I do. Okay.
Runes first.
So let's sell Urge to Kill here.
I'll be needing that.
Also fair to sell Artemis's Aid. It's not going to be a core part of our build, but it is free extra damage. So I think Urge to Kill, easier to let go of there.
Getting more.
There's our Chaos Gates.
Hit me.
Alright, Chaos. More casts. More cast damage. These are the things we want from you. Ooh. Okay. Well. So we can get an extra cast, but for the next 4 encounters we can't cast. Or for the next 3 encounters we can't special. Afterwards we get extra money for the rest of the run. Ooh. Yeah, I think I'm gonna take the money here. Only because our casts do so much damage that I think we can avoid having to use our special very much in the hallway fights.
Chaotic strength.
And let's take... You know what? We're gonna take some gems just to take gems.
Wavemakers.
Give me money. Ah, Wavemakers have high health pools. Gonna make this unfortunate. Ah, we can still kill him with 3 casts though. Nice. Okay. Oh, we can kill him with 1 cast. Twitch chat. Yikes, yikes. Need this Wavemaker to die. Once the Wavemaker is dead, I can kill the witches easy. There we go. Okay.
What do we have here?
Gem is not bad. 5 darkness is 25 health, 5 gems is 100 gold, but you can use roughly the same effect at some point. 5 darkness equal 25 health. What do you mean 5 darkness equal 25 health? I don't think I follow that. Yes, you missed a sneaky peeky teaky. Ooh, Ares and Artemis. Oh, 5 darkness rooms. Yeah. I mean, that's true if you're not running with any cost modifiers. If you're running with cost modifiers, that 100 gold will not buy you 25 max health. So unfortunately, I think we're gonna have to bypass this room because we're cursed, and I don't think that we can do that room with this current curse. Let's take the palm, I think.
Cheers, mate.
And we're still getting 14 damage out of this. Alright, we're still going to upgrade True Shot, but we'll probably switch to upgrading Exit Wounds after this. Dedulous Hammer? Do I care about Dedulous Hammer, Twitch chat? I guess I would like my special hits along a larger area.
No urns permitted in this chamber.
I think that's about it. I think with this build, Dedulous Hammer is just not particularly great for us. Oh, by the way, we don't get max health if we buy this, right? No, we don't. Okay. I'm gonna re-roll it.
Something else.
I would much rather have an Aphrodite, thank you. Crap, well. I was not looking for a fountain rune. We need to get rid of this curse. I like Heartbreak Flourish here. We could take Life Affirmation, which would be pretty good as well. But this helps us deal with Area of Effect fights, and we may have to fight Death Barge right now. So, just in case we do. Alright, let's take this Artemis. If this is Death Barge, we're dead. GG Twitch chat. You done. We are cursed and cannot use our special. So, I'm pretty sure we're dead here. Like, I'm gonna do my best, but you in just a moment, but I'm gonna be pretty focused here for a minute. Empowered Death Barge is nasty in the best of circumstances. Not being able to use our one Area of Effect ability makes this not the best of circumstances, so I gotta focus for all that's gonna do for me. This is only the first wave, Twitch chat. Back. We gotta pick these up real fast so they stop getting in our way. Alright, I'm gonna let them invulnerable so that our casts will hit Void Stones. Any luck? Stones? Are you kidding me? Unnecessary. Unnecessary. Going for this wave maker. Oh, that's a life. Jeez. Ouch. It's just terrible Twitch chat. There's nothing we can do here. We need to be able to hit all of these enemies together. That's what we need. Trying to get rid of this wave maker over here. Again, right? Only lets you do it once in a fight? Yeah. That's unfortunate. I really use another Boldy right now. Oh, crap. The good news is, as long as we survive this, we still have a chance, because we can get Patroclus in Act 3 and restore all the lives that we've lost. Just need to live long enough to get that option, or to potentially get that option anyway. Fortunately, that means surviving the one more wave of this fight. Oh god, how is there another wave? No. Twitch chat. Brutal. Brutal. Yeah, there's our... I think we're dead here, Twitch chat. I think if we had gotten just a couple fewer wave makers here, it would have been okay, but I think with this many wave makers, we're probably dead. GG Twitch chat. Well, that was just a really, really, really rough scenario to get in there, and to be fair, when we took that chaos, I knew that we needed a way to do area of effect damage.
Oh, tough luck.
So I probably shouldn't have taken that. But our other option was to make it so that we couldn't cast, and making it so we couldn't cast was going to guarantee that we died against the empowered Gorgon.
Wretched broker, what's
I don't know what the right answer was there. I don't know. We trade keys for nectar to get another ambrosia?
Here you go.
Sure, let's do that. Alright, onward and forward, Twitch chat.
Back, Rain. Did you miss me?
It was a really good build. If we had just not had that curse when we got into that fight, I think it really could have come together well.
If you want.
Alright, so we're going to do Chaos Aspect here.
My keepsakes.
We're going to grab Ares. We're going to grab Boldy. And then, what heat are we running? 27? And 27 heat. Let's do this thing.
That's as much heat as I can get from this.
I think we end up having to take... No, actually we don't have to do any budget cuts. Okay. We do one lasting consequences, push this up to 28. Yeah, let's do it. Alright, Twitch chat. 28 heat. Highest heat we've ever run if we successfully beat this. Our current record is 26. Let's see how we do. Onward and forward.
Do your worst, Father.
Say it, blood and darkness. It's a curse, boy. Say it with me.
Blood
and darkness. Each available in high abundance here.
Blood and darkness, well indeed.
Yeah, time to get serious, as Bale says. Definitely true. Curse of Pain. Fantastic start to this run.
It's me or them. How careless of me.
Money or Artemis? Let's take Artemis, I think.
More brimstones.
Alright, if you've never seen this particular build before, the Chaos Shield has a special ability which says, right after you bull rush, instead of throwing one shield with your special, throw 5. What we do is we throw 5 shields, we curse everything on the screen, and then the curse just kills everything. That's the plan. Alright, Pressure Points gives us the ability to deal critical damage with our curse. We're going to take that.
Which path?
And let's take our max health from this darkness. We've got a good start. We do need to make sure that we're not going to have to sell any of the pieces that we have right now at the end of this act, so we're going to have to find some kind of a boon that we're willing to sell. No option here to do that. So let's continue to get max health, I think.
Wretches.
Thanks to the magic of Ares Curse, our damage for Act 1 is largely solved. So I'm happy to take max health here and try and start getting our mitigation to where it's going to need to be. Got him.
The underworld's power.
Zeus or a Palm Power, huh? I'm gonna take the Zeus. I want the Palm of Power to make our curse better, but we need to have another boon available to sell at the end of this act, and I want to get that out of the way now.
No, you don't.
Malachi attempting to do this in Hell mode. You default play with budget cunts, and Patroclus only restores 1 life. Yeah, honestly, I would like to play Hell mode, but I'm not going to restart my save file. That's rough. I think Heaven's Vengeance is really strong. Let's take Heaven's Vengeance.
The Thunder God's might.
We're probably going to end up selling it, but just in case we don't. We have Convenience Fee maxed out, which means the shop isn't going to be very useful to us. So we're going to take the E instead. Reroll this.
I won't have it.
Okay, I'm much happier with max health. Yeah, I mean, we're getting pretty close to the point where we're going to have to run with budget cuts, whether or not we want to. I don't really like that aspect of Hell mode, by the way, that you have to run with budget cuts on, because I feel like
All mine.
it makes it pointless to keep getting darkness after a certain point, which is like, you know, it becomes pointless at a certain point anyway, but much faster it makes you feel like you're not progressing. I could have taken Sisyphus there. If I did, it would have been purely to give him more Ambrosias, because we haven't maxed him out yet. But on a 28 heat run, that's not the time to be like taking something in order to give Ambrosias. So I figured this Athena would serve us better.
Push forward, noble cousin. I shall be keen to see you.
The first pass for Hell mode, so I'm sure they'll iterate on that. Yeah, I agree. Alright, so we can take Divine Dash, Athena's Aid, or Holy Shield. I think I'm going to take Divine Dash here. It did a lot of work for us in the past, especially in the Hades fight. Alright, so now we have some shit to sell. Let's take this Palm of Power and make our curse stronger. Yeah, I'm also hoping that we're on the first... I know this is a controversial subject. I'm hoping that we will iterate on the reduced aspect of the shield as well. I feel like it's a little underpowered.
Let's deal some death.
I'm really trying to figure out, like, what abilities is the new god gonna have? Because I've already said there's a new god in this next major update.
Thank you for your support.
No.
What else we got?
Yes. I feel like I would like to see a god with some more cast abilities. Really, Artemis is the only god that really empowers casts right now. I'd like to see some other ways to do that. I'd also like to see some ability to, like, bypass armor or to be able to overkill armor. I think that would be really useful and really cool. I would also be very interested in, well, at least so far, every one of the major gods, with the exception being Hermes, has a debuff. So I'm excited about the existence of a new debuff. Okay, this is a complete heal. I've seen a reason not to take it.
Come forth, wretches, and stop this
The
madness.
only reason not to take this chest, in my opinion, it would be if we were running on with the limited time modifier, which is a modifier we'll eventually have to run with. Other than that, this chest just says, get a bunch of life. Even if we were thinking we would take damage from this chest, which I doubt we will, chances are 60 is still going to be more than you take, right? I can see them solving these problems through creative ideas, but my biggest gripe is with combat. What's your gripe with combat? Alright, let's take this duo here. I'm confident that I can beat it, and I would love to see more Ares for our curse. That being said, who am I more afraid of? I think I'm more afraid of Artemis's ads.
Olympus, I accept this message.
Prepare for wall? I don't know what that means. What does wall mean there? Artemis's aid is decent. I think Hunter's Mark could be really good for us. Quick reload, I don't definitely think... Oh, got you. Prepare for wall of text. Makes more sense. I thought you were talking about, like, what is the new god gonna do? I'm like, right, create walls? I mean, okay, but how is that gonna work exactly? I don't know. I'm debating between Hunter's Mark here and Artemis's aid. Hunter's Mark won't go off very often right now, so I think I'm gonna take Artemis's aid.
Time to hunt.
But if I need to sell Artemis's aid, I'll actually feel okay with that. What I would like to see, by the way, is one of the things I think would be cool is adding some sort of a parry mechanic to the sword in particular. I think could really like revitalize the sword. I think it's very underpowered in many instances right now. It needs some way to be able to deal with its added risk that it takes from having to be within melee range, and I think a parry mechanic could really like bolster that. Alright, Dire Misfortune is not fantastic, but it will add damage to our curse, so let's take that.
This means war.
Alright, so here we can take a heart or we can take a Palm of Power. If we take the Palm... 1 second, Twitch chat, my dogs are going crazy.
Exclusive access.
Sorry about that. They're done now. Our food arrived. The fact that you can dodge clockwise for most encounters through high heat worries me. Sure, you can do smart stuff, but it's easily cheesable. Not like I want to say how people should play, and I fail to understand the game design is not intended for you to beat most of the time, but the progression isn't very fulfilling. For example, Slay the Spire at high difficulties, you start to notice new things that show you how the game pieces fall together and stand to be scrutinized in every detail.
Can you evade my wretches, boy?
I mean, I'll definitely agree with dodging in a clockwise rotation, right? There's definitely things they could do to fix that. That being said, I think in a lot of situations it's already pretty challenging, and when you get to like harder content like the Death Bard, for instance, just dodging around clockwise is not going to solve your problems, right? That being said, I think that you make an interesting point, right? So when I watch Sneaky Peek and Mini Minotaur play a lot of Slay the Spire, right? And a big thing that we talk about when we're talking about Slay the Spire is you have a bunch of resources, right? You have cards, you have energy, you have health. But one of the main things that you have, or one of the core things you have to understand, is you have something called consistency, right? Which is basically how consistently can you guarantee that you see your cards. And at higher levels of Slay the Spire, being able to manage the consistency of your deck is a huge deal, right? So when you think about how this game builds, right, or like how this game functions, it has a lot of those same aspects. But the consistency metric in this game, in most cases, is how good are you at the game mechanically, right? The problem with that versus, say, Slay the Spire's consistency is that if you up the level of that, if you make that harder, if you make smarter, more dangerous enemies that you have to be mechanically better to deal with, it's also much more punishing to newer players. Now, you could argue that not understanding deck consistency is what makes most new Slay the Spire players lose, and I would not disagree with you. But if they don't understand it well as a mechanic, they can still get by, right? Versus Here, if they just ramp up the mechanical difficulty, which is turning that consistency knob, right, that's going to be really, really nasty to newer players. So I think it's a more difficult problem to solve, and you know, part of how Slay the Spire deals with some of this stuff, right, is that some of the difficulty modifiers like that are turned up at higher ascensions. I know, kid. I'll just have Mama put it in the microwave, and I'll be down in a bit, okay? So I think they need to find some way to be able to do that, but still make it approachable. And if you look at a lot of the stuff they've done in this game, they've done a lot of things specifically to make this game more approachable for people who are not used to roguelikes, right? Since this is their first roguelike game, they're assuming that most of their fan base is coming in from a place where they don't know what to expect.
Till next time.
Give me my heart.
That's good.
Nice.
Next. You earn this
Sweet.
Villain Square.
Alright, this is going to be the room before the boss. 289. We don't have quite enough for a God Blessing, so I guess we go heart here. For what it's worth, I think we have plenty of damage and plenty of mitigation for this fight.
Hello to Symphony.
Yeah, the one-off run for this game is outstanding, but only humanly natural to draw these obvious comparisons, I guess, is as far as a bit higher now, yeah. I think also, too, right, is like, when they introduced the heat system to begin with, the Pact of Punishment, it was basically because people were playing the game a lot more than they expected. So the game originally released, there was 2 acts. It ended at the end. The Hydra was the last boss of the game. And they were like, okay, you know, this is enough content. They expected people to play through it, beat the Hydra, and then put the game down, right? And then come back to the next major update. But they didn't. People were like, no, we keep playing, running different builds with different weapons and trying to beat this every which way. And they're like, oh crap, we need something that's going to keep people interested who want to keep playing this when we haven't added new content. And so that's where the Pact of Punishment came from, is they had originally planned it for one of the last updates of the game was to introduce the Pact of Punishment. And so I think in terms of overall roadmap, they haven't thought as much, or they haven't got as far into their very end game content and what it's going to be like at the high levels yet. I think they're still working on that. I think it's on the roadmap, but a piece they haven't solved yet. Yeah, so I think we're likely to see it, but I just don't think they've gotten there yet. Alright. Ugh. Well, if I have to sell one of these, I'm going to sell the Divine Dash, for sure. Don't really feel like any of those. Alright, so we've got our Curse. I guess we look for something on our attack, and I feel like Aphrodite is a good thing for that, so let's do that.
Okay. I'll just go on.
Yeah, they changed the direction of the game.
Yes.
Yeah, so like a lot of the... Actually, I feel that the endgame content for this is pretty good. I mean, it's kept me interested for, you know, thousands of hours at this point, but I think it's pretty good for the amount of pivoting they did for it, right? It was really an afterthought originally. I think if they want to, if they make that decision to make it more mechanically difficult, what you're going to see is there's going to be hallway monsters that only exist at higher heats, or some specific heat modifier. Because that's the way to make it mechanically harder, but keep it friendly to new players. This is something that Dead Cells does, right? Is there are enemies that you won't see until 1 or 2 boss cells, and that's specifically to try and address that same concern that you have, Vale.
How bad could it be?
Probably gonna take this Chaos. What are my... Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna take this Chaos. this is a healing chest, so we're just gonna heal the floor.
Damnable fools!
I'll take it. I can take it.
I don't think the roots are in the core gameplay. I think the roots of the problems that you're suggesting are mostly in the mechanics of the enemies, which is a fixable problem. I don't like hidden previews, but 75 max health sounds really yummy, so let's do it.
The whims of Master Chaos.
Hey, you know, we still haven't seen a Daedalus hammer. I'd love to see one of those.
Ready for me?
If anyone like has an inside ability to like whisper to the game and tell it what we want, Daedalus hammer would be great. Finish him.
Well,
There we go.
phew.
Alright, well we got some money that time. Alright, so I'm gonna buy some sustain here since we can't tell what's coming up, although I will take this rogue tracker. Yeah, 75 is gonna be a nice amount of health. Now all we need to do is get life affirmation before it goes off, so that we get even more. Oh, a shop, okay.
How's business, mate?
No!
Not enough coin.
You kidding me? Oh man, if we'd bought less stuff, we'd be able to buy this. Okay. Well, I mean, let's buy this palm power, make our Curse of Pain stronger. That's the way to go here, I think. If I remember correctly, this is probably a mini boss. Yeah.
Fancy running into you again.
Since we're using the shield, I don't think this mini boss is that big a deal. You can simply block the dangerous area of effect attack. There we go, Gorgon's down. Got it. GG. Alright, Aphrodite.
What do you say?
Oh,
Steve?
something good. Heartbreak Strike is exactly what we were looking for. Let's take it.
No love without pain.
I can't imagine taking this heat room without being able to see the reward. If it's like money, then that's just going to be a complete waste. Well, I don't know, but there's a 50% chance that this is a tier 1 reward, right?
Time for more pain.
Let's see what happens. I think chances are this is money.
For Master
If I had to
Chaos
guess,
is
I'd say this is money. We'll find
I
out.
see that you've returned.
not so much a stretch.
By the way, something that heat rooms cannot be is the Daedalus hammer. The reason is the Daedalus hammer can't be empowered, and the heat room always gives you an empowered reward. Alright, gotta get this wave maker down.
What else?
I'm not very frightened of these other skeletons, but the wave makers, I think, are our best chance to accidentally take damage here. So one of the other benefits of getting Aphrodite here is we now apply 2 debuffs, since our curse counts as a debuff, which increases our damage by
Miserable
50%.
fools.
What do I get?
Alright, max health. Fantastic. Great reward there. Daedalus hammer, though. Alright, this is going to be the room before the boss. I'm going to take this Daedalus hammer. Yeah, it does give 200 money, but 200 money. With 100% convenience fee, 200 money doesn't go all that far. Okay. So here I'm going to take Armor Shredder as a way to tear through armor faster. Dreadflight is worse for us. We want to be throwing our shield and dashing a lot, and this makes it take longer for our shield to come back to us. Let's take Armor Shredder. Act 2, 500 health is insane. Oh, are you adding up all of our lives? Yeah. Unfortunately, we do have to do this fight.
Your hands back.
Luckily, RNG has been really kind to us, so I think we're going to be pretty okay here. I think green heads are okay. I think green heads are okay for us. Actually, green heads are more than okay for us. We still have an active Eye of Lamia, which means that green heads can actively drop healing items. They're pretty awesome. What I'm trying to do is dash through enemies before I throw my shield so that they get the second debuff, or just attack them with our strike. I mean, part of that is just like a damage mitigation thing since we do apply weakness, but more than anything, it's to get the extra damage markers. Alright, we're gonna save our aid, we'll use it against the last ad phase. One ad down, nice. Armor Shredder putting in some good work here. Trying to draw the big head away so that we can get damage in on this one. There we go. GG. Vale says,
Back to wherever your neck
have you
went.
seen players skipping the Hydra phases? Doesn't bubble if you bring it down from 51 to less than 25 in one sweep. That used to be true. That is no longer true. Unless it's something specific to this Hydra, like this version of the Hydra fight. As of the last patch, they made it so that you can no longer overkill a phase of the boss.
You are correct, Father.
So that shouldn't be possible anymore.
The trade.
Alright, of these things, I think Dire Misfortune is the way to go. Because, yeah, I used to skip Hydra phases all the time using Aphrodite's aid, but they nixed that.
I can use this.
Alright, so here I want some mitigation, so I think I'm going to take Dionysus.
And check.
Yeah, that's not supposed to be possible anymore. So if it is still possible, chances are they're going to patch that out as soon as somebody reports it. Alright, another Daedalus Hammer. I'd love to see Sudden Rush, so let's take the Daedalus Hammer. If we can indeed get Sudden Rush, then the only thing this build is missing, in my opinion, is a little bit of mitigation, but not that much, and Impending Doom. If we can get those things, I think this build is, like, gravy. Now, what I need to not do is be mechanically terrible at the third boss fight. We'll be fighting the empowered third boss, which traditionally I'm horrible at since they buffed it. So we're gonna have, goodness, get off of my shit. Freaking chariots, man. Anyways, as long as we don't completely fail on the Act 3 boss, we should be in a pretty good spot. Sun Rush, heck yes. Alright,
Done and done.
I'll buy this Eye of Lamia, sure. $75 gems? No, not worth it. Yeah, could have been playing a recording. It was definitely possible in the
More
past.
strongbows?
It was this latest patch that they fixed it. Or the latest major patch fixed it.
And don't come back.
Another possibility was the person that you were watching could have just been playing an older version of the game, right? Like, you aren't required to update your game, so it's possible to be playing on an older one. Now, if they had gotten it from Steam, it's unlikely that they would still be able to do that, but on Epic Store, you could have an older version.
It's mine.
Again with your tampering.
Sweet Surrender would be good, a good way to improve our doom. I agree with that. But Sweet Surrender won't be as big of an improvement as Impending Doom will be. So I'm more excited to find Impending Doom. I'm being a little cavalier with our life here, and the main reason is we still have 5 summons and Boldy,
Exalted.
so I feel like we still have a lot of sustain if we need to pull it off, pull it out. Alright, well there's our Athena. The question is, do I want Hermes more? Well, if I take Hermes, we're still guaranteed to see another Athena. So I'm gonna take Hermes here and go for some mitigation. Alright, quick recovery is some pretty decent sustain. The Flourish would also be good, but I think I'm going to take quick recovery. 1 second, Twitch chat. Alright.
That's better.
Here's that Athena that we were promised. Let's try it. Have you theorized about room order and the possibility of synergy rooms being a thing? I wonder what you mean. I mean, one thing that I've thought about that I thought would be pretty cool is like if there were certain rooms that like could kind of chain together, right? So it's sort of like, you know, what the Act 4 rooms do, but with like a series of rewards that do something cool if you manage to do like the whole thing, kind of like a challenge. And then like if you deviate from the path, then you miss out on the big reward, but you still get, you know, whatever small rewards you got along the way. Like I think that would be pretty cool. I also think like an interesting heat modifier could be adding in more elite but not mini boss rooms that are empowered by god powers. Alright, Divine Dash, Proud Bearing, or Bronze Skin. Ooh, these are all good. We do have Artemis's Aid, which makes Proud Bearing pretty decent, but I think Bronze Skin is the best overall option here. Flat damage reduction. Ooh, Palm of Power, sure. Tried to reverse steer away with the blue laurel can come with it. As far as I can tell, the laurel color doesn't do anything, right? So I don't think it matters.
Surprise.
I think it's just decoration. But to be perfectly honest, like everything that I know about this game, it really comes from playing it. I haven't really like dug into any theorizing stuff that people have done about this or anything like that. God, this increased run speed on these chariots is brutal. Die.
So much for them.
Credit upgrade. A Heartbreak Strike? I'm okay with that. I would have preferred the Doom, but Heartbreak is fine. Actually, don't care about Patroclus, strangely. So let's try and do
Let's go.
Artemis.
Make Father mad.
Always the chariot hate? Hey, they deserve it. They deserve it. If we were running Broken Spear Point, chariots aren't as bad.
One scratch and all your efforts will be lost.
But without that, I think they're pretty nasty.
Easy.
Oh crap. Bounced off the wall there and didn't move to where I wanted to be. That was spooky. God, there's so many.
You're gone.
My biggest worry here is my shield not coming back in time and not being able to dodge to dash when I need to dash. These flame chariots, we can't outdash with this heat modifier. Oh no, Twitch chat.
As expected.
That's too bad. We almost had that. Oh well,
Oh well.
that's life. Okay. I guess I'm gonna go max health here. I think that's probably the best option. Shields, Twitch chat. One of the next updates removes shields from this game. Gotta tell you, I would not be even a little bit sad. Hate these enemies. The chariots, I find the chariots annoying, but only at like high heat when you're running with vastly increased run and attack speed. Shields, I think, are always annoying. Kill some guys. There we go. Got a shop up there too. Might be an opportunity to get some chaos.
Time to collect.
Yeah, we can afford this Hydrolite. Let's take it. And between money and health, I want health. Don't get the shield bearer hate. They're pretty predictable. You face them head on, dodge forwards, they open for 3 seconds afterwards. Yeah, so here's my reason for hating the shields. They move slowly and predictably, but they're too good at everything. They block 100% of damage from the front. They have very strong and very punishing both short and mid-range attack due to their dash and spin, and they have a powerful long-range attack. They need to not have one of those things. Having all 3 of them together is too rough. They're too well-rounded of an enemy. They need a more susceptible weakness, in my opinion. Sunlight had just texted me and asked me if I wanted her to bring up my food, but I ordered Mongolian beef. I'm pretty sure that it's going to be spicy enough that if I try and eat it on stream, things are going to go badly. Alright, this is going to be the room before the boss. I feel like taking this. Alma Power is yummy.
Actually doing business.
Make our Curse of Pain better.
For the hell.
I'm really, really hoping that we can roll into an Ares for Impending Doom.
Hey everyone, I'm back.
Alright. So, we've had problems with this fight in the past. The main reason is I still haven't done this fight very often. It's only on our highest heat runs that I run with 3 extreme measures. And so I just don't have the mechanics of this fight down yet. Oh. Wish to have that Minotaur, he runs fast. This thing is a problem. Alright. Let's get our money. Or not our money, our health. I honestly don't even care about the damage. I only care about the health. Alright, so what I did right there was I got our curse and our weakness applied at the same time before I used my call in order to get the 50% increased damage. Alright, Minotaur is almost gone. Alright, take him out. I would just have to deal with Theseus, which I think will be okay. Like, he's almost out of his strong form. Once his strong form is out, I think we're good to go. Will I soon be destroyed? I kind of feel like I won't soon be destroyed, but... There's phase 2. Nice. Do it. GG. Okay. In a surprising turn of events, we did not lose a single life on this fight.
I can do with this.
I don't want to say this bodes well and jinx it, but I will say that we've done worse.
Perhaps your expectations are too high.
Another thing I think you didn't pick up on is that the small chariots kill themselves if they drive into corners or other enemies. No, I've picked up on that. Alright, we don't have our Hydrolite active anymore, right? No. Alright, so let's buy this then. Oh, we don't have enough money. Never mind. Well, we will after we sell. Ooh, icky. I don't like these choices. We have so much health that I think overall, bronze skin is actually going to
There goes that one.
be worth more to us. I'm gonna do that.
Useful. Which one?
And here we're gonna go Broken Spear Tip. Or Broken Spear Point. I think this will save us a lot of damage throughout the rest of the course of this run. Alright, Twitch chat, here we go. 28 heat, Act 4. See how we do.
I've reached the surface.
It's not just poison, right? It's also like you get into situations where you get cornered in a wall with 2 giant rats, right?
Lots
And
of
suddenly,
love
instead of
here.
taking 180 damage, I take 60. Like, that is so strong. Alright, well, oddly, we don't need lives, which is usually the thing we're hunting for here. I'm going to take this Artemis. I'm probably going to reroll this to look for an Ares, and then we'll take this heart. We'll see where we go from there. Actually, we're going to take the heart first.
I bet it's in here.
Yeah, Hades Beam is definitely a strong selling point for Spear Tip. Although, since we're doing a shield build right now, we can always just block his beam attack, right? So, not as useful in that case. Might end up taking that Hermes that's in the shop. Love some extra dashes. So right there, we would have taken 120 damage from 2 rats without the spear point. Now granted, it's a fair thing to say, well, Elisande, you simply suck, and you let yourself get cornered by rats. And that's why that was important to you. To that I say, you are correct. You are absolutely correct, but I am aware of the ways in which I suck, and trying to mitigate my own mechanical failures, I think, is what has made me a good player at this game. Alright, Trove Tracker, no. Trove Tracker is so nasty. Although I think we might be in a small room next, so maybe or a big room next, so maybe Trove Tracker isn't terrible.
I'll pay for that.
Okay, big room?
Crawlers.
Nice. So if this room can have a treasure chest in it, then we'll be happy that we did that. If it's not allowed to have one, then we'll be sad because that means our treasure chest will be in a small room. Oh, there it is. Cool. Okay. So that might be useful. The problem with Trove Tracker in most of this game or in most of this act, is that in the small rooms, trying to fight a chest is a really disastrous thing. The number of enemies that spawn does not decrease because it's a small room, which means that oftentimes the entire room is absolutely filled with enemies from wall to wall. And unless you have a very, very strong build, that's going to cost you a lot of life if you can even beat it, right? In a lot of cases, you can't. Okay, let's kill some of these. Use something that lets our dash do damage, or like Dying Laments, in order to deal with these rats a little better. I've never had the chance to do a trove in a small room. Oh, it's rough. Oh, darkness. Really? Really, game? That's what you've got for me? Well,
Coming back.
I look up my nose at you. Alright, so what do we got here? I'm going to take this Artemis next, and then we're going to try and aggressively reroll for Ares for the other rooms. This room right here is a commercial for Sudden Rush. Because that ability to get off a rush and then still block the other shots is what I take Sudden Rush for, to be honest. Since we're running Broken Spear Point, it doesn't matter as much in these particular fights. But it's a very powerful mitigation ability. Be able to get your shield back up and blocking that fast. I'd say the most disappointing thing about this run so far is that our RNG has been so good. I think we actually probably could have done 30, 32 heat and probably been able to pull this off with the same roll. That being said, still not guaranteed, but the potential that we have right now to beat this at our highest heat ever is still pretty solid.
What is this stuff?
I don't like any of these. Take Hunter's Mark just in case we do some more hallway fights.
Then better hide.
I don't know if we're gonna do more hallway fights.
You hungry, Cerberus?
I think what we'll do is we'll go re-roll, try to look for an Ares.
In the name of Hades.
If we see it, we'll take it. Okay. Well, we'll take it.
Maybe this way.
But like where we're sitting at right now, we're 1 life short, 1 HP short of max life, 435 max hit points, and 3 lives. We are in good position to do the last fight. Now the reason that I'm doing this is because we still have Boldy, right? And so I still have some sustain here that I can use in case we take a bunch of damage in this hallway. I don't think we'll take a bunch of damage in this hallway, but it's always possible. Yeah, this run has gone very well so far. We've gotten a lot of good RNG luck, and I haven't been making a lot of mistakes that I usually make. Except right there. Let's pretend that didn't happen. Other than that, I'm gonna buy this heal, why not? I will say that a lot of the life that we've saved over the course of this run has been very much due to the fact that we got an epic roll on Curse of Pain in the very first room. That's saved us so much life over the course of this run.
Must be the last of them. Hello, Lord Ares.
Child of Light? No, Child of Light soundtrack is not on here. I have the other Supergiant games and Celeste. Okay, so I kind of want to take Vengeful Mood here only because I've never taken it before. Curse of Longing is probably the way that we should go. Although how the successive hit damage stacks with applying a new curse, I think is... the calculations don't happen correctly, at least it seems to be that way. But we definitely should take Curse of Longing, right? Let's take Curse of Longing.
The will to
I
fight.
do someday want to take Vengeful Mood, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, this Hunter's Mark is not super useful for us. Let's turn that into
Extra common.
something
Lots of
else.
common
More money or something. It's nice and sword. Yeah, also if you have like
there.
Zeus's
Before I leave.
Revenge, I could see it being really nice. Alright, we don't have different leagues, so let's buy the Aphrodite here.
I'll take it.
And unfortunately, she didn't give it to us. Life Affirmation's useless at this point. I guess we'll take Passion Dash, maybe?
Love and loss.
Alright, well that was kind of crappy, but that's okay.
Sever a second.
Alright, Twitch chat, here we go. Last fight of the game, 28 heat shield run. Highest heat we've ever run on this game, beating our previous record by 2.
One last bit of business to take care of then.
I shall give you no quarter.
Well then, give me no quarter, Pops. Let's see how that goes for you, shall we?
Darkness. Your Highnesses, a collapse from the temple, nothing more.
Alright, well he's... So the problem with Boldy is that the non-healing items that he drops actually get in your way. If you bull rush into them, you'll bounce off. And so I actually have to clear them up in order to make sure that we have space to maneuver. See, that's the worst thing about that.
Triani, the hunting goddess oft choose lesser prey. Useless.
Face me, damn it.
Alright, phase 2.
Let's finish this
We're
then.
going to try and get both debuffs applied, and then hit him with our Bitter Call here. There we go. Took some damage there, but that's okay. To be perfectly honest, we have enough life to just face tank him for the rest of this fight. Don't want to do that just because it makes me feel a little dirty, but mistime that slightly. Forget that. Oh god, this is problematic though. That's the one thing that we don't have enough health to face tank is those. GG. Nice job, Twitch chat.
Were it not for all my wretched kin upon Olympus.
40% speed, I think.
Why? You. How?
Say hi to Hypnos for me. My father's name.
Alright, GG, Twitch chat. 28 heat, our new personal record. We approached 30. Holy crap. I never thought that we would get anywhere near 30. In the old heat system, this would have been close to 150 heat. So crazy. Now, the unsurprising thing about this build is that it is exactly the build that we strive for on these runs, and really everything was exactly what we wanted. Started off with Curse of Pain, got it up to level 4, so greatly increased the damage. Got Heartbreak Strike, which allowed us to apply weakness, and a second debuff, which increased our curse damage by 50%. We got 75 max health off of a Chaos buff, which was just crazy. Pressure points gave us our curse a chance to crit, which did a lot of damage. Curse of Longing, we weren't exactly looking for this. We were hoping for Impending Doom, but still not bad, right? And then some Ashen Dash, Artemis's Aid, these things just weren't that strong. We also had 435 max health, which is really good, and all 3 of our lives into Act 4. In fact, we only lost a life to Hades. Otherwise, it was a completely deathless run. G.
In his great hurry to explore the countryside, the hapless-footed prince steps on the peel of a most exotic, sallow-colored fruit, and tumbles backward with such sudden violent force that you know what occurs. Why, you?
Wait, we slipped on a banana peel? Really it?
Show you that time, Father.
So very tired.
No more story dialogue here. You still can't buy this.
Can't buy
I'm gonna buy it someday, Twitch chat. I'll do runs just to grind up gems. That's honestly what I'll do.
You trying to fleece me here?
Alright, Twitch chat. My plan was to stream for a little bit longer, but I'm hungry and my food is downstairs, so I'm going to go do that. I'm going to host up a streamer that I enjoy watching. His name is Old Man Sethis. He's a Darkest Dungeon streamer mainly, but he's been playing a lot of Hades recently, and that's what he's playing right now. The one thing I'll warn you about Old Man Sethis, a very vulgar person. If you're not into very vulgar streams, I suggest not coming along with the raid. It's a very different tone than this channel. But I'm going to be there after I grab my food and hang out for a little while. Otherwise, I hope you've enjoyed this stream. I hope you've enjoyed the content. If you haven't already and you would like to, there's a follow button up top. It's free and it lets you know when I go live. I'm mostly playing Hades these days, although we do stream game development on this channel as well. We'll get back to that here sometime soon after New Year. Otherwise, Happy New Year to you all, and I hope to see some of you in Old Man Sethis' channel. Otherwise, Happy New Year, and I'll see you on the next stream. Alright, see everybody.
We are definitely gambling it up by going to Zeus. Let's see what we can do.